Welcome to Celestial Zodiac, your home for clear and grounded astrology. If you've ever looked at a transit, a horoscope, or an astrology prediction and wondered why nothing seemed to happen, you're not alone. One of the biggest misunderstandings in astrology comes from confusing your natal chart with transits. In this video, we're going to break down the difference between natal placements and transits, how they actually work together, and why timing in astrology isn't as simple as something just happening overnight. Because astrology isn't just about what could happen. It's about when, how, and why it shows up in your life. Your natal placements represent your baseline. This is your birth chart, the exact position of the planets at the moment you were born. And it acts as a blueprint for your personality, your tendencies, and the patterns you naturally fall into over time. These placements don't change. Your natal chart stays the same throughout your life because it reflects the core structure of who you are. It shows your emotional responses, your strengths, your challenges, and the way you're wired to experience the world. But it's important to understand that natal placements don't lock you into a fixed outcome. They describe tendencies, not destiny. They show what you're inclined toward, not what you're forced to become. Think of your natal chart as potential, raw material that can be expressed in different ways depending on your choices and your environment. Transits, on the other hand, represent movement. They are the current positions of the planets in the sky and how those moving planets interact with your natal chart over time. While your natal chart is your blueprint, transits are what activate that blueprint. They describe timing, cycles, and periods of change. They show when something is being emphasized, challenged, or brought to the surface. Unlike natal placements, transits don't describe who you are. They describe what you're experiencing. They bring situations, opportunities, pressure, or awareness into your life, depending on how they interact with your chart. A simple way to think about it is this. Your natal chart is the structure of your house and transits are the weather moving through it. The weather can change how the house feels, but it doesn't change the foundation. A helpful way to actually see this in astrology is through something called a biwheel chart. This is where your natal chart stays in the center and the current positions of the planets, your transits, are shown as a second wheel around it. This allows you to see exactly how the moving sky is interacting with your birth chart in real time. You can visually track which transits are connecting to your natal planets, which areas of your life are being activated, and how strong or noticeable those influences might be. In other words, the biwheel chart is where your blueprint and current conditions come together. It shows not just what your chart is, but what's happening within it right now. When you compare your natal chart to transits, you're looking at potential versus current conditions. Your natal chart holds the patterns, while transits show when those patterns are being activated. Transits don't override your natal chart. They don't suddenly turn you into a different person or erase your core traits. Instead, they temporarily highlight certain parts of your chart, bringing specific themes into focus. For example, a transit might activate your communication patterns, your relationships, your career direction, or your emotional responses, but it's always working through what already exists in your natal chart. This is why astrology isn't about random events happening out of nowhere. It's about timing. It's about certain parts of your life becoming more active at specific points, based on the interaction between your chart and the current sky. For example, if we look at a biwheel chart like this, the inner wheel shows the natal chart, while the outer wheel shows the current transits. You can see how some of these outer planets are forming strong aspects to the natal planets in the center. When that happens, those transits aren't creating something new, they're activating existing patterns in the natal chart. So if someone has a natal moon that already reflects emotional sensitivity or internal pressure, A transit connecting to that moon can bring that pattern to the surface through real-life experiences. This might show up as emotional stress, increased responsibility, or situations that require maturity and emotional adjustment. This is what the biwheel chart shows so clearly. It visually connects the moving planets to the natal placements, revealing exactly what part of the chart is being activated and how that activation might play out in real life. This also explains why the same transit can feel completely different from one person to another. Even though the planets are moving in the same way for everyone, they're interacting with completely different natal charts. Your individual placements determine how sensitive you are to a transit. If a transit directly hits one of your natal planets or important angles, you're much more likely to feel it strongly. If it doesn't connect to anything significant in your chart, it may pass by with little to no noticeable effect. Your natal aspects, meaning the way your planets are connected to each other in your birth chart, also play a role. If you already have a strong or challenging pattern in your chart, a transit can activate that pattern and bring it to the surface. If you have supportive aspects, the same transit might feel easier to work with or even beneficial. This is something we'll explore more deeply when we talk about aspects, but for now just think of them as the patterns that already exist in your chart. There's also a difference between personal relevance and collective energy. Some transits affect everyone in a general way, creating a background atmosphere, while others are highly personal and show up in very specific areas of your life. Slower-moving outer planets like Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto tend to create broader, collective themes that affect everyone on some level. But unless they're directly connecting to your natal chart, you may experience them more as an atmosphere rather than a specific event. Faster-moving planets like the Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars tend to feel more immediate and personal, showing up in your daily experiences, emotions, and interactions. These transits often act as triggers, bringing underlying themes to the surface. Planets like Jupiter and Saturn fall somewhere in between, marking important phases of growth, responsibility, and change in your life. At the core of all of this is one simple truth: transits don't change who you are. They activate what's already there. Astrology isn't about predicting fixed outcomes or waiting for something to happen. It's about understanding your patterns, recognizing timing, and learning how to respond when certain themes come into focus. In the next video, we're going to take this a step further and look at where transits actually show up in your life, through your planets and your houses, and how to understand what's being activated and where. Thank you for watching Celestial Zodiac. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.